So let's talk about 9 tips to ensure a seamless phone deployment. This is one where, we have a lot of experience in kind of the deployment of phone systems. And so working through some of these things is something to take into account. So all the elements that make up your existing phone system. And for those of you that deal with phone systems today, I know we've got a lot of CIOs and CEOs on the call, and everyone, from a leadership perspective says, hey, let's just roll into teams. And then you get down to your guys that are managing the phone system, and the guys that are managing the phone system say, wait a minute, we've got, this connected to it, that connected to it. So understanding what's actually connected to the phone system, right? If there's applications connected to it, if there's integrations connected to it, if there's devices connected to it, right? What are your users using? So all the understanding what is connected to your phone system entirely is important. So plan, you decide how you're going to mirror your workflow and call flow first. So initially, when we work with organizations, we work to mirror exactly what they have, right? That's kind of the easiest thing to do so that it doesn't change too much. But then what we do is, because we're the experts in this space, we can sit here and work with you in your organization on how you can better use tools within Microsoft Teams that allow for efficiencies in your business process. Because ultimately what Teams does is create an amazing user experience, not just for your end users, but for your customers as well. Other things you should consider is mapping out your device strategy. With Teams, you may just want to move to an entire soft phone environment. If you're a heavy facility organization, you may not. So understanding what your device strategy looks like. That means rooms, that means devices, physical devices, phones, and/or headsets. So understanding what that device strategy looks like, that's something to take into account. The network, how the network stacks up. For the most part, everyone that's on this call is probably running a legacy PBX. And what I mean by that is a Cisco, a Mitel, a ShoreTel, an NEC, an Avaya platform. And so the likelihood is that you've been running IP voice now for a long time, at least within your network, right? And then maybe it gets to your PBX, and you've got, maybe it's SIP coming out of your PBX, and maybe it's not SIP coming out of your PBX, but you've been running IP for quite some time, I'm sure. But evaluating the network is still important, understanding what each location looks like. Certainly utilize the Microsoft Teams Network Planner so you can organize your locations within Microsoft Teams in the admin center. You can build your sites out, build your locations out, and Microsoft Teams will tell you what's the optimal network capacity needed for what you're running there. Simplifying your dial plan. This is technical stuff here, right? Simplifying the dial plan, but everyone's, if you're on a legacy system, you're used to extensions, right? Running your system. So your extension is, 100, 300, whatever your extension is, 5,000. Well, Microsoft Teams runs on 10-digit dialing, right? They run on DID. So the DID, or the phone numbers, are embedded in the users. And that is that's why it helps simplifying your dial plan. Where this comes into play is if you have multiple locations, right, that may have duplicate extensions. So something to look for there. Don't complicate things. Well, as difficult as voice may be, it's not as heavy as you think, particularly the complexity in migrating. And again, it's the reason I say this is because when we migrate services, we run things and can run things concurrently with your organization with existing systems, right? And that makes for the easiest transition that you could ever expect. Compliance, understanding the 911 regulatory environment, obviously making sure that we're RABOM compliant for your organization. And then establish a user adoption strategy before you migrate. And so that is, what does training look like? Is everyone using Teams today? Is everyone going to be new to Teams? And so you've got to train for all of Teams utilization. But for the most part, what makes Teams so exciting is that you're using it already. Your organization is using it already. And the adoption of the phone system is much easier than by replacing it with another application that you want to sit on your PC, right? So the same application, consolidating your tech stack makes for a really simple end user migration.